This video was sponsored by War Thunder. If you had 1 week to prepare for a zombie apocalypse, what would you do? Would you scavenge for food, fortify and hold out in a house, maybe band together with other people to survive? Or realize the only way to survive the apocalypse is to be even worse? Welcome to Project Zomboid, the week before mod, simulating life 1 week before a zombie virus outbreak with a world full of normal, healthy human beings, and then there's you. Taking place in the mythical land of Kentucky, where if the cops don't shoot you first, your neighbor probably will. But this mythical land has another secret, a nuclear bomb, poised to detonate in exactly 1 week of game time. So between the public defecation, stealing emergency service vehicles, and setting fire to all taxpayer dollars we come across, we need to travel to a remote military base hidden deep within the woods and disarm the nuclear bomb. So which Kentucky citizen could take up the torch to save all of redneck kind? Ladies and gentlemen, meet Officer Joe. Rosewood police officer by day, professional drunk driver at night. Given his nudist tendencies, he's quite conspicuous, has high thirst, and eats a lot of people. Fortunately, he has never obeyed a traffic law in his life, can see in the dark, and has faster hands than a Waffle House gunman. We begin the game in Joe's house, afforded by a secret real-life exploit called Going Deeply Into Debt. The first thing we have to do is make money, because there are functioning stores in the mod, and the entire world has not gone to hell yet. Specific professions can make money in different ways, like the firefighter can put out fires for money, or the fitness instructor can sprint around and rob people by making them do push-ups. But we have an even better way of making ends meet.
I'm hurt.
I really hope we catch the criminals who did this. I was so busy mourning that I accidentally missed my TV program for cooking. Tragedy just continues to strike. My house didn't have much I could use, but I hoped the garage would be different. I just needed to find the key. Inside are gas cans, hammers, planks, and a wood saw. Everything I need to successfully shatter my spine as I carry it to the car. It's time to go on patrol. My first stop is the local bank. It seems the employees are hard at work. I believe I've located the sign of an upcoming recession, which is a dead rat in the ATM. The radio is advertising the healthiest food in all of Kentucky.
Double XL bacon. Next time you're in a participating Spiffo store, just use the magic words. Unleash the diabetes.
For this video, I asked Google what people from Kentucky are called. Google's AI responded by calling all Kentucky citizens corn crackers. Don't worry, fellas, I have the pass. Security is tight in the bank, very tight, such that I was spotting swiping a battery in the back room through the floor. But I have rights too, and this unarmed lady was coming right at me. So was this soldier who shot me in the leg. It was nice of him to deliver an M14 because the state of Kentucky has a lesser-known caste system, dictated by the type of firearm you open carry. There's the lower class, middle class, and upper class nobility. We're moving up in the world, and nobody is the wiser. As a bloody man limps out of the bank wielding an M14 someone else walked in with. I then strolled into the supermarket, downed 3 bags of chips, and mortified everyone at the local clinic by simply arriving. You should never judge a person by their looks, unless they are ugly. Having a bullet lodged in your leg is what doctors would call not good, but I'm not a doctor, so it's probably fine. I then purchased every other remotely useful item here, like their medically licensed baseball bat, and consumed an entire bottle of antidepressants. I was fairly sure the gunshots I kept hearing were just a hallucination, until I spotted all the blood on the street and the military man walking by. Our goal right now is to get supplies, more ammo/weapons, and gasoline to prepare ourselves to get to the military bunker and defuse the bomb. It's a long drive there and has an insane amount of armed guards, so we need to prepare accordingly. I planned out our next moves carefully, such as finding an optimal location to take a crap. I decided on the middle of the road. There's a lot of crazies on the road these days, so it's a good thing that I'm around. A military backpack is our main priority, and there's one lying on that corpse. Unfortunately, no matter how much I Tokyo drift, more people just kept shooting, forcing me to flee the scene. I drove deep into the woods, filled with more lead than elementary school drinking water. As I sutured myself back together, there was only one course of action to move forward. Joe is no coward, and I'd run over 1,000 civilians to get my military backpack. For my name is Officer Joe, and I am very dead. In Project Zomboid, there is no saving. Officer Joe is dead permanently, which means the nuclear torch would have to be passed to his son, Joe Jr. Now, Joe Jr. lives life the way his father wanted him to. Upon waking up, he immediately gets to work, beating the nearest person to death for money. His traits are the exact same as his father, but his occupation is slightly different. Instead of being a member of the force, Joe Jr. is a prison guard, with a devout and loving wife named Becky, his prison van. The state of Kentucky may not recognize the relationship, but the well-oiled exhaust pipes certainly do. With his father's last words, Joe decided to take up the mantle of disarming the military bomb, which means, once again, a visit to the clinic. We take a step outside and inhale the fresh air. My neighbor is breaking down their door again, the fire department is blocking the road, and people are walking in the middle of the street. We grab what we need from the clinic and hop back in our wife. A group of soldiers are rapidly approaching, even as Becky refuses to start. My attempt at escape clips one of the men, but people seem to realize it was an honest accident. 3 honest accidents, actually. And if he doesn't give me his military backpack, there will be a 4th accident. Don't you dare. What? My gun jammed! Oh no, they're swarming me! They're worse than the zombies! This guy's crazy. You don't know that for sure. Something about the several dozen gunshots alerted the police, whom I tired out by running for about 3 seconds and finished off. The still unlooted military man had an M16, military backpack, tons of ammo, and solid armor. Everything I needed until the fun police burst through the door. The back exit was open, but the SWAT team blocked my route to the car, so I hid in the local restaurant.
Oh, I betcha they're in that bathroom.
Please, God, reload. Don't you dare come in here. This is the second most disgusting public bathroom I've been in, and the third most guns I've seen in one. Each SWAT officer is armed to the teeth, knee pads, bulletproof vests, holsters, and an EMS jump scare, attempting to resuscitate a man without a head by sucking on his toes. Between choosing the apocalypse and being stuck in a room with me, everybody picks the zombies. The town of Rosewood has declared me a threat to society, forcing me to leave it for good. Joe Jr. is not doing so well, as evidenced by the 10 status effects on the right side. We are hungry, panicked, bleeding, soaking, thirsty, injured, hot, over-encumbered, in pain, and depressed. I've also been scratched by a waiter and have a bullet lodged in my hand. Little did Joe Jr. know, this would be the high point of his adventure. Joe's been shot so many times, we have no more sutures. That means no stitches for gunshot wounds and a healthy dose of chronic pain. Becky had almost no fuel, we had little food, and the M16 was running out of ammo. Turning back to Rosewood would be an effective exercise at getting shot another 100 times, so we'd need to head to a different town with medical supplies and fuel. Checking out the Build 42 map, we could either do Muldrow or March Ridge. Muldrow is much larger, but March Ridge is closer to the military base with the nuke. So I decided to drive there. I should really keep my eyes on the road, local man says, while not keeping eyes on the road. Before the entrance to March Ridge is a military blockade, preventing anyone from going in or out of the town. Fortunately, this is Kentucky, so the law is generally optional. Plus, the van was almost out of fuel, powered by only the concept of gasoline, meaning I needed fuel from the gas station at the other end of town. It'll also require more money, and I think I figured out the perfect way on how to get it.
Have you ever heard of War Thunder?
War Thunder, the sponsor of this video. The most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. Now look, I know what you're thinking. Kleaper, I can't play War Thunder because I'm at the courthouse awaiting trial for spilling classified military secrets to win an internet argument against someone named BronyMan737. But War Thunder thought of that, which is why there's a new mobile version, free just like the PC and console versions too, allowing you to play alongside a community of 70 million players, all equally dedicated to obliterating Brony Man. And if that isn't enough, hunt him down in the incredibly detailed combat, flush with 2,500 vehicles and 10 major nations you can worship. Recreate American superiority, Chinese industrial might, or try one of the minor nations and fly the only plane in North Korea, meaning you could be the pilot we've always needed. Every vehicle is detailed down to the last component, like the engine, crew, and oddly suspicious jar on the dashboard. Just use the link on screen or in the description for a massive bonus pack for both PC and console players, whether new or haven't played in 6 months. Currency, vehicles, and 7 days of premium. Remember, Brony Man is waiting, Brony Man is watching, and Brony Man knows where you live. Okay, where were we? Ah, yes. Getting gasoline in March Ridge. Dressed like a psychopath. Nobody seemed to question the bloody and armed Metal Gear Solid looking dude running through the town, hopping a fence, and breaking into the medical building. I'm a bit famous among the medical community, which is why they all sprint out of the building upon seeing me. I scavenged every last compartment looking for sutures until at the final cabinet, a lucky box of sutures, letting me actually treat the gaping bullet hole in my hand. I then pretend I'm living in San Francisco by washing all my clothes in the public restroom, taking care not to get a single drop of water on my body. I haven't showered in 6 years, and I'm not about to start now. It's what the youth call having aura. We also found a nice place to sleep, and despite my concerns that I wake up to the barrel of a homeless man's shotgun, it was fortunately just my schizophrenic delusions that woke me. Some people would call me paranoid, but when every one of your neighbors is a government agent in disguise, all out to get you for paying your taxes in perfectly legitimate monopoly money, is it really paranoia? All of this stealing from clinics has made me hungry, so now is a good time to break in to the local supermarket. It's full of nutritious meals for a gamer such as myself, like antidepressants and a meat stick. But as I tried to steal a singular cracker, a lady spotted me and threatened to alert the cops. She doesn't even realize I have a medical condition where I twist myself into a pretzel every so often, making me drop my shooting glasses. Just another reason I'm the real victim here. A bystander calls out for help, which is very kind, but I think I can find the glasses myself. There's a non-zero chance the police are on their way, and I'm too over-encumbered to carry the medical supplies and get gas, so I need to drop off the loot and escape the police. But nobody is faster than Joe Jr. Not a single person could possibly fail to climb a fence as quickly as him. Why are you covered in blood? Do you want to know the answer to that question? The people in March Ridge are good folk, letting me walk right into their houses with no resistance. However, I was appalled that the lady living there was being indoctrinated by watching the least objective, most biased, and worst news program in the world, MSNBC. I obviously changed the channel to the greatest, most objective, and reliable news program in the world, MSNBC. Up the stairs, I found an unoccupied bed and took a little nap, an 11-hour nap. This marks the beginning of day 2, so I went downstairs to enjoy a nice bowl of cereal. Oh my God! Jesus Christ! Wait, you locked the door? I'm afraid to tell you that's not how this works. Between the intermittent sounds of the neighborhood and getting charged because I turned off the TV, another very important event occurred. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce I have defecated myself. I exchanged my freshly shat pants with looted ones off some dead guy and began the journey back to Becky. It seemed the town was having a celebration with the musicians surrounded by an audience and clearly drunk drivers attempting to plow me over. It's moments like these that make you stop and think, maybe I shouldn't disarm that nuclear bomb. It took about 2 hours to get back to the van and deposit the medical equipment, meaning we really just needed more ammo and fuel. Don't tell Becky, but I was also looking for another mode of transportation. It's not her, it's me, wanting something a bit newer that can drive faster than 20 miles per hour. And lo and behold, my prayers were answered. A beautiful car sitting right outside this house. I'll just borrow the keys from inside. Oh, you got a gun! No doubt that was self-defense. I don't know what kind of weird stuff goes on in here because there's like 7 people in one bedroom and some of them have knives in them. For once, it wasn't me. The incoming cops wanted me dead so badly, they learned quantum physics so they could start phasing through the door. Random people even begun to climb through the windows to try and fist fight me. Trying to walk outside? Whoa, 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 buddy. I don't think so. This town is like 200 people, yet 50% of the population is on the SWAT team. But hey, even SWAT needs help from time to time, so it's good that they teamed up with bandit raiders to try and kill me. There isn't anything even worthwhile in this house. I was just looking for car keys, and every set I found doesn't even go to the car outside. I don't recall how many lunatics with butter knives were slain that day, but I do know that there is now a house filled with 24 corpses, 300 shell casings, and a gas stove I decided to leave on. At least there's some good news, because I have been castrated by a bullet. Joe Jr. being unable to reproduce is probably the best news Kentucky has received in a long time. On the way to the gas station, I broke into a few more places, like a driver's ed classroom and a storage room guarded by a man paid not nearly enough to try and stop me. I mean, they're charging $10 for a can of food. I am a murderer, carjacker, thief, lunatic, and possible arsonist, and even I wouldn't do that. $50 minimum. Besides bandits breaking into the back room, there wasn't a lot of activity around the gas pumps. I just needed one full gas can, so I found a working pump and realized I forgot the gas cans back at the car. I was hoping to find some in the gas station, but all I got was assaulted by a random employee. There may be no gas cans, but there is another thing we can use. Trash. Empty beer cans, soda cans, tin cans, plastic bottles, literally anything that has capacity. Onlookers witnessing this bloody man with an assault rifle filling up red Solo cups with gasoline, then sticking them in his backpack, probably did the wisest thing by not saying a word and just leaving. I don't need a ton of fuel, just enough to make it to another gas station much further down the road. We began walking back at the dawn of Sunday, day 3 of 7, stopping only to try and find something to help me drive. Maybe a car key or a spare tire. Just kidding, it was beer. Question, why does this beer taste so good? Follow-up question, why does it smell like gasoline? There are so many great drivers in this city, people we can really look up to. The military still had no problem with me walking past their blockade, this time pouring several soda cans of gasoline into my van. My fuel went from teetering on empty to slightly less teetering on empty, but it was enough to make it all the ways up the road to another gas station. Right now, we are outside of Rosewood right here. The military base is all the ways out here, requiring us to navigate through a series of wood paths to get there. Once there, we'll be faced with mobs of both bandits and military personnel, so ammo could be a problem. Just in case we ran out of fuel again, I checked this gas station for gas cans, only to find a swarm of people just standing around what I assume was a glory hole in the bathroom, where people were exchanging sour cream and onion chips through the wall. I stole a single bag of chips, thus causing people to realize their green paper was worthless. 5 seconds later, and the store was in chaos. Our next destination would be the military base, if I hadn't forgotten something. Inside the base are reinforced doors, lots of them. Finding keys isn't impossible, but we need a backup tool to break down the doors if need be. There are 2 items that work best, a sledgehammer or an axe. And just up the road is a construction site, followed by a fire department, giving us our best chance of finding either. Just before leaving, I jokingly decided to ask a random NPC to follow me, and he just did? What? He got in my car? I tried it again on a random lady, and she immediately hopped in the van. Either these people were not taught about stranger danger, or they were and thought saying no to me was even more dangerous. They were willing to get into the van, but getting out, they just didn't. No matter what I did. But I could use it to my advantage, because the house construction door was locked. So by screaming, "Follow me," through the window, this guy immediately obliged, unlocking and opening the door. Then I could hop back in my van, and he dematerialized into the void of Becky's trunk. No sledgehammers here, so we'd have to hit up the fire department instead. Pulling up to the building, I was going to first take a nap inside, but it was too unsafe for Junior. Sleeping on an autopsy table or the bed of a man he just shot, that's fine. But sleeping surrounded by government employees is a step too far. If you needed any more proof that firefighters are secret military super soldiers, look no further.
What the hell are you doing?
One step in the wrong room, and I'm already being chased by a man with an axe I need. For some reason, they locked me out of the building I was never supposed to be in to begin with, and I really didn't want to go back inside. Hey, wait. Open this door for me. Follow me. Thank you. Jesus Christ! Now that we've got our axes, we can head straight the other way. We'd have to make it to the forest entrance and navigate all the ways to the military base. Going the long way forced me to stop and take a break, then stop again and go all the ways back because my stream viewers forced me to pick up the feces and put it in my pocket. Further down the road was an isolated house of partygoers, listening to French techno music. Initially, I was going to ask them for money by stomping on their heads, but a random bandit attack nearly killed me. It seemed the horde of baguette-sniffing baristas channeled their inner revolution and quickly formed a tribunal to summarily execute this man. Seeing as I'm standing here doing absolutely nothing, they also decided I was guilty of some imaginary crime. It's insulting. I'm capable of so much more, like real crime. Nothing like crippling a person and driving away. It's time to make the final journey to the military base, following the highway, then turning to this dirt road. But very quickly, we ran into a problem. The van can't move. The engine and wheels are wrecked enough such that it has virtually no ability to accelerate on dirt. And after a brief sleep in the back, it was already day 4 and looking as if we'd have to spend countless hours walking our way through the forest. Wait, are we going faster backwards? If not for a glitch. In Project Zomboid, at least on this version, there's a glitch with the calculation of weight for driving a car. Putting stuff in your car naturally increases its weight, making it drive slower. But when driving backwards, this calculation doesn't exist, treating your vehicle as much lighter than it really is. So despite the collective 300 pounds of expired food, Pepsi cans with fuel, and human fecal matter, we can drive faster backwards. When I was streaming this, I was blasting quality music, specifically CCP propaganda music, which I will play for you now. Copyright claim. So instead, we'll have to continue this journey with another song that even Mao Zedong would be proud of. The Angry Birds theme song. Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived. This is the military base, and just up the road is the main compound. These soldiers guarding the front gate, that's baby's first militia, because the compound itself is something vastly more horrifying. I packed the necessities for our siege. Ammo, firearms, more ammo, even more ammo, and of course, drugs. I finagled my way through the barricade and sped up the road. I would like to welcome you to the Civil War. Hordes of soldiers versus a never-ending army of bandits with free loot. I mean, civilians everywhere. The military here is hostile to everyone, no exceptions. It's now that I wish I had a faster car, but I don't really have a choice. My favorite part of the military compound is the alarm that makes a noise comparable to scratching chalk every 3 seconds. My second favorite part is the free ammo kindly deposited all over my body. Deeper in the compound wasn't exactly reassuring, but I'm still probably the scariest thing in here. In front of us is a reinforced door, so it's fortunate we have the lockpick. Now, Project Zomboid is ultimately a game about having fun. Of course, I don't mean for you, I mean the developers laughing at you. If you thought the army of paramilitaries, police officers, SWAT teams, and drunk drivers was the hard part, you are sorely mistaken.
Listen up, Safe. I will spill your contents even if I have to tear you apart. Yeah. Bit by bit. Yeah. Molecule by molecule. Atom by atom. Uh-oh.
This staircase is living proof of the inabdominable will of the human race. With enough drugs, anything is possible. After 5 in-game hours of reenacting The Shining, we've made it to the bottom. I can hardly walk. I'm about to faint, and the only reason I'm not dead is that I'm too stupid to realize I should be. But I don't need sleep. I need to dismantle computers for electrical skill. I don't know which one stops the nuke, so hopefully it wasn't that one. Given my withdrawal symptoms and the gunshots outside that prevent me from sleeping, this is only slightly worse than Detroit. It's day 5, so we still have 48 hours left to disarm the nuke and escape. But the bunker we're in is absolutely massive. Multiple floors, a metric ton of loot, and near 100 rooms separated by narrow hallways. And the worst part is that my gun doesn't work. On this build of Zomboid, there's a bug with wielding firearms in basements, where every shot will miss. Around every hallway could be a human enemy, or even worse, zombies can start spawning now, right when my gun becomes useless. Following the sound of the alarm brought us down a few sets of stairs, to rows and rows of rooms, leading us right to the source of the sound, directly through these doors. The only thing pushing me forward is my determination and opioids. I can no longer feel anything but the weight of my sins, and God, are they heavy. On the other side, at last, was salvation and a zombie. The very first zombie of the game. Where my bullets glitched and failed, my tried and true strategy of sending my enemies to the back rooms is surprisingly effective. As for the nuclear control panel, the hint for the password is how much money you pay in taxes. And for me, it's 6 figures. 0000000.
Launch sequence deactivated.
Now all we need to do is get out and escape the base before the military executes us. I can either escape the easy way, or potentially by traveling down the hallway from where the zombie came up. At the bottom was a single metal door, obviously locked because we can't have good things. Breaking down the door, inside we're greeted with pitch blackness. The only light from a single battery flashlight, with an axe I can't use with one hand. Winding passageways, collapsed rock formations, and a litany of dead ends. I was hoping there was an exit to this carousel of malignance. Oh, shit. The realization that not only does my pistol not work, but that undead could be around any corner meant that as much as I'd like to leave, I was just as likely to find my way back as I was to get lost further. Plus, with the increasing exertion of running around, swinging my weapon, fighting each zombie was like a cage match. Finally, I stumbled upon a path I didn't recognize, and at the end was a massive garage door. Clearly, I was supposed to break through this, seeing as there was radio static on the other side. It was lucky my axe hadn't yet broken, but that means I can't hold my flashlight. I couldn't set it down, and as much as I tried with the police baton, it just wouldn't break down the door. Well, I mean, I don't think I really have much of a choice. A ramshackle base, one well, a light, some assorted furniture, and my hopes dashed as I realized it was yet another dead end, meaning the only way back was the way we came in, and we've been in this bunker for a total of almost 2 whole days. Since there'd be enemies waiting up the stairs, I cooked some food, took stock of my inventory, and as preparation for our final escape, took a small nap. Get up! Get up! Get up! Uh-oh. Okay, I think the facility is having a few security issues. Now, I'm not pointing fingers, but it was probably some insane person hopped up on a cocktail of many different drugs who left wires hanging everywhere after dismantling 30 computers. If I were in a most likely to burn to death in a secret bunker competition, I assure you I would win. I have no idea how the bunker hasn't collapsed, but I'll consider myself lucky that getting burned alive is the least of my concerns. Oh, God! Ah! I did in fact defuse the bomb, so why does it look like I set one off? It's hard to spot the difference between the bandits and civilians when I'm shooting both. Whatever semblance of humanity there was, someone tied it to a truck and dragged it through 13 interstate highways, which means the Kentucky we know and love is about the same. Zombies had finally begun to spawn, and every gunshot just lured more, so I barely managed to dive into the car and drive off. The apocalypse has officially begun. We defused the nuke, legitimized our marriage, and avenged our father by dismantling the state government and becoming addicted to drinking gasoline. In other words, Kentucky was saved. Thank you. Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video, and remember to use the link in the description for the free bonus pack for either PC or console, and for new players or those who haven't played in over 6 months.